Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah ma ba'd. Today we'll be continuing on the appendices which were there in the book Awakening from the Sleep of Heedlessness. This is the book Tanbih al-Na'im al-Amr ala Mawasim al-Umr. So this book is by Abul Faraj al-Jawzi. He's a 6th century scholar, and he's not Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawzi as we have seen in the book. So the book basically covers about, just in a revision, the stages of life. So the first stage, the stages of life have been divided into 5 stages. The first is, as we saw before, is from the birth until puberty. The second is from the puberty until the end of youth, which the scholar says is close to 34-35 years. This is all Hijri estimates, which is until one reaches 35 years of age. And the third stage is the stage of maturity. The stage of maturity is from 35 to age of 50. And the fourth stage is the stage of old age, which starts from 50 years until 70. And the fifth stage is the stage from 70 years until death. And the scholar, he says, the start and end of these stages may fluctuate from person to person. Nonetheless, their stages are 5. So the first stage is the stage from birth till puberty. These are the first 15 years. The second stage is the stage of youthfulness, the stage of maturity, the stage of old age, and the stage of feebleness, where a person is in extreme old age and awaiting death. So we went into the aspects of these stages. We went into what are the trials and tribulation that happens in each stage, and what we need to take care of. So inshallah, if you look at the previous 2 durus, then you can basically benefit from it, inshallah. So today we will continue on this book, which has some appendices. The English version has the appendices, the Arabic version doesn't, which have been taken from the writings of the scholar itself, Ibn al-Jawzi, and Rahimahullah, and he has taken it from his other books. So we are going to go through 6 of them, which have been taken out from the book Disciplining the Soul. The second book is Disturber of the Hearts. The Disciplining of the Soul, Disturber of the Hearts, Sincere Counsel to the Seeker of Sacred Knowledge. These are the works of Imam Ibn Jawzi. So these appendices which have been taken are from them. What are these appendices? What are these extra notes that have been collected in this? So basically, when you go through the content, you find that there are many things that we need to have checks and balances. We need to do a lot of things in different ages. If we are parents, we need to be very careful about how we are upbringing the children and all. So these appendices have come up so that you know what to do in terms of applications. So you can consider it as more theory material. And here the scholar has been giving us advices what to do, the application side of it. So the applications of what preceded in the book, from what to avoid and what to nurture. So the first appendices, or the first topic that he is dealing with, is averting indolence, which is averting laziness. The second topic is the self-discipline. The third topic is disciplining the children. The fourth one is awakening from heedlessness. And what he talks about this is a summary of what we went through the books. And then the fifth topic is lives of our pious predecessors. And the sixth one is knowledge and actions are intertwined. They are together. Knowledge and actions are intertwined. So inshallah we'll look into this. So to begin with, the first topic that he deals with is laziness and how to avoid it. So loving leisure, preferring idleness, and perceived difficulty of tasks are what leads to laziness. So what is the cause of laziness? Is to love leisure and to prefer idleness, to not do anything, and to perceive the difficulty of task. If I do this, it's so difficult, it's better not to do it. These kind of things. So when you are delving into these aspects, okay, then this is what would lead to laziness. This is what the scholar starts with. And he brings the hadith which is mutafaqun alayh, which is from Bukhari and Muslim, reported by Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to frequently say, I seek refuge in Allah from grief and distress, old age and laziness. This is Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-hammi wal-hazan wal-ajzi wal-kasal. Muslim reported in his Sahih from Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, a strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than a weak believer. So this is in Bab al-Qadr or Kitab al-Qadr. So at all times strive for that which will benefit you. Seek the help of Allah and do not be helpless. Do not be helpless. So to work on your nafs, to be able to take care of not falling into laziness, what the scholar is saying is that you have to strive that which will benefit you. So don't be idle. And while you are striving for it, seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? And don't feel helpless, because Allah's help is there. And if anything bad befalls you, do not say, if only I had done such and such, then such and such would have happened. You do not say this. Rather, you should say, Allah preordained this, and whatever He wills, He does. For the words, if only, opens the door to shaitan. So you say, قَدَّرَ اللَّهُ وَمَا شَاءَ فَعَلَ. Ibn Masud, now we'll look into the quotes of the companions and the tabi'een. Ibn Masud radiallahu anhu said, I detest a man whom I see idle from striving for this world and the hereafter. He also said, at the end of time there will be people whose best action will be blaming each other, also known as the lazy ones. So the towards the end of time, you'll find a lot of people who are idle and they have nothing else but tail waqal, and this will be their traits. Why? Because they have been lazy into doing what would benefit them in this world or the hereafter. So when you are idle, you have nothing else but to gossip. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he said that slackening marries laziness. Slackening is to work less or to be less than what is necessary. To be less than what is necessary. What is required from you, you are less than that. So he said slackening married laziness, and they gave birth to poverty. So basically you are not working towards your dunya, you're not working towards your akhirah. So this is going to cause you regret. Malik ibn Dinar said, there is no righteous deed except that there is an obstacle that comes before it. If a person endures it patiently, he will reach comfort. And if he fears, he will abstain from it. If he fears, he'll abstain from it. Sufyan al-Thawri said, people left riding fast horses and we have stayed on indolent camels or lazy camels. Basically, people are not striving as they should be striving. And these are the Sufyan al-Thawri is from the Tabi'in. So then the scholar, he discusses the cure for laziness. Some of them we saw that to strive for that which will benefit you, to seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? We saw these. So the cure of laziness lies in motivation and urging the endeavor by fearing that one may miss the goal or be blamed or fall into regret, lest one does not make an effort. So if a person does not motivate himself and he does not have the urge to achieve the goal, right? So it will lead to laziness. So if you have to constantly motivate yourselves, if you are in company of people who can bring your iman high, or he can help you achieve your goals, then this is all a means to attain it. So for the regret of a negligent person when he sees the reward of a hard worker is the greatest punishment. How many times you've seen, oh man, if I would have done this along with my friends, I would have achieved so-and-so degree, I would have achieved so-and-so certifications, or I would have been in so-and-so. These things would have happened. Why is this regret? Because you know that the other person, he is doing it and you did not do it. It's not if opens the door to shaitan. This regret is because you had the capacity to do it and you did not do it. You felt for laziness. Also, a person of sound mind should reflect on the negative consequence of laziness. For many a time has leisure led to regret. So this is what he's talking about here. So whoever sees that his neighbor has traveled, returning with profits, his regret will be many times greater than the satisfaction of leisure, simply if one person becomes brilliant in knowledge and another does not due to his laziness. So he's giving an example. If a person is constantly seeking the ilm, he's sitting in the circles of knowledge, and the other person is lazy, he's not sitting. So there is obviously going to be a difference between these two people. The first person, he will be excelling in knowledge, he will become, his knowledge will benefit him, right? And the other person, because of his laziness, he has missed the opportunities that came to him. And because of that, the regret is what? I would have been in a such and such situation. I would have gained so much knowledge, but what I did, I lost my time because of laziness and leisure. The intended purpose of these examples is to explain the pain of missing something exceeds the satisfaction of laziness. So this is the key thing. Why these examples have been mentioned is that the pain of missing something, that opportunity that is lost. How many times people are there who are looking from dunya, that if they were not opportunistic and they lost an opportunity to invest, lost an opportunity of business, lost an opportunity of appearing for an interview, for say, even if they had the right skill sets to appear. So in dunya itself, you can feel that, okay, or appearing for the exams, sometimes you find that the exams are easy, not preparing well for it. So there are many examples in the dunya. Now, if in dunya it is a case where the pain of missing something is makes you forget the satisfaction that you got in your leisure or laziness, you don't think about that when you miss something. What about matters of the akhirah? The opportunities that are missed when you see the reward of those who achieved it on the day of judgment, right? So this is where the author has tried to highlight the principle. That is, the pain of missing something exceeds the satisfaction of laziness. Wise people are unanimous that wisdom is not reached by relaxation and idleness. So if you want hikmah, you want wisdom, you want to become wise, then you have to leave the relaxation and idleness and strive. Therefore, whoever knows the fruits of laziness will avoid it, and whoever is aware of the fruits of hard work will endure the hardship of the path. Moreover, an intellectual knows that he was not created in vain, rather he in this world is like a hired laborer or a merchant, meaning he has to put efforts. Another important point that he brings is the span of lifetime in this world, the life that we live over here, the lifespan that we have, which is practically the life one is given to perform good deeds. So all the time that you've been given to perform good deeds. And the span of time one is to spend in the grave is like a single moment compared to the eternal dwelling in paradise or hellfire. So if we keep these things in mind, then we will be working on our nafs and striving to attain more. From amongst the best cures for laziness is reading and reflecting on the biographies of those who strove. So this is another benefit, he says. If you look at the biography of the scholars of the past and the amount of efforts they put in seeking knowledge, if you look at the life of the people, the scholars of the past, the Zahid, you will see how they dedicated themselves to ibadah and the matters of deen. So this will help you set your goals so that you become better. You work towards becoming better. Therefore, I wonder at he who would prefer idleness in the sowing season and leaves yielding to the harvesting season. So he is not doing the right thing at the right time. So in farming, there is a season where you sow the seeds, and there is a season when you harvest the crops. So he leaves sowing the seed in the season when he should have done it, and when it is the time to harvest is the time he wants to sow the seed. So that means the time to do the job or do the work is now in this life, and in the hereafter it's all about the harvest. It's all about what you have achieved. So this is what he has been talking about. It was narrated by Farqad. Farqad is a tabi who died in 131 Hijri. Farqad bin Yaqub al-Sabkhi. You put on the garment of leisure before you started working. Have you noticed that when a worker starts working, he wears his cheapest garment? When he is done, he takes a shower and puts on 2 clean garments. On the other hand, you wore the garments of leisure before you even started working. So they are giving examples of comparison. So to summarize, the cure of laziness is to motivate and urge towards the endeavor, reflect on the negative consequences of laziness, reading and reflecting on the biographies of those who strove, and seeking the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the fifth is, which when I was going through it, this is also important, to be in the company of those who strive. This is very important. It's not mentioned in this, but when you are with the people who are having those goals, who are with those set of endeavors, are motivated, this will help you avoid laziness. This will help you set your goals, strive harder, because sometimes you need a company to become better. So in that case, if there is a group who is striving and they are on the right way and they're motivating each other, they're reminding each other, then it's better to be with them. So in that case, you will be automatically striving along with them, not to their ability, but anything is better than nothing and being lazy. So we go into the second topic, which is the first one was about laziness and how to avoid it, because this is the source. From here, once you have worked on that, then it's all about discipline, self-discipline. So you motivate yourself and then you become disciplined. So self-discipline. The basic principle is that mankind's nature, which is the fitra, the natural disposition, is sound and healthy. It's sound and healthy. There's nothing wrong with it. Allah has made it sound and healthy. Whereas disease and defects are extraneous, meaning they are external. They affect from outside. So every child is born upon the fitra, which is further explicated in knowing that discipline is ineffective except in an intellectual. So what is the author trying to say here? That if you want to discipline someone, or discipline the children, or discipline a created being, it is difficult to discipline those who do not have intellect, who do not understand. And he brings this example here. Thus it does not benefit a mule, disciplining it does not benefit a mule or a wild animal that is looked after while young, meaning those who want to have pets like cheetah and tigers and all that, right? So it's a wild animal and they want to discipline it, but the wild animal doesn't leave the hunting. This is what he's saying. Will not leave hunting when it matures. It will hunt, basically. So in this case, the fitra of that animal is made that way. Alright? But if you look at the fitra of the human beings, it has been blessed with the recognition of the Creator and what our role is towards the Creator. So, which is to believe in one God and to worship Him. So this is part of the fitra. And you know of the famous story. Okay, this one I don't know what the statement means. I try to research it. I'll skip it. Know that within every human being there exists 3 capacities. Now he brings rhetoric explanation to self-discipline. Philosophical perspective, basically. So he's saying that the human being, they have 3 capacities. The first capacity is the lingual capacity, linguistic capacity. The second is the lustful capacity, and the third is the anger capacity. That said, he who Allah is honored by bestowing upon him the love of knowledge should care for perfecting his lingual self, meaning he should seek knowledge and perfect himself. Because if Allah has blessed him with seeking knowledge, he should perfect it, by which Allah favored him over all animals, because this is the intellect that he can recognize what is good and what is bad, and with which he shared a common characteristics with the angel. So now once a person is on the right path, performing the right things, he is at the level of the angels who are also doing the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. he should make his self capacity predominant over the other two capacities. So basically, by seeking knowledge and adhering to it and working with it, you are in a position where you can control your desires, because you know what is right and what is wrong, and at the same time you'll control your anger, because these are two things which destroys a person. So that it becomes like the rider, his body. So he's giving an example in this case. So it becomes like a rider, his body becomes like the horse, because a rider should be predominant over a horse due to his elevation. So he's able to lead it wherever he likes, and he should be able to slaughter it if he wishes so. Likewise, the lingual capacity should be predominant over the other two capacities, using and ceasing to use them as he likes. So basically, if your lingual capacity is good, so you know what to do and when to work on it and when to leave, right? So, and whoever is like that is truly deserves to be called a human being. Now, he brings a quote of Plato in this book. Plato is a philosopher, right? Now, to understand this, he was in an era where the Greek philosophy entered upon the Muslims. Before we delve into this, so this is Ilmul Kalam. So a lot of scholars, they delved into it. Some of them went into used this philosophy in Aqidah and they made mistakes, right? And some of them, they used it in a sense where it could be explanatory, like in this explanatory on matters which will bring you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he mentions this quote, and then I'll just give you an explanation on that and his Imam's perspective. So Plato, he said, a true human is he whose lingual self is stronger than the rest of his other types of selves. Because if lustfulness is excessive, a person becomes an animal. If a person releases his hawa, the desires, lives an unrestricted life, then he becomes displaced from his center. Hence, he will become worse than an animal, because that is actually the nature of animals. But in his case, he has contradicted his human nature, right? And when the anger capacity is excessive, human traits become as that of wild and beastly animals. Hence, one should tame his inner self by opposing lustfulness, controlling anger, and following the lingual capacity, so as he may become like the angels and avoid worshipping lust and anger. Now, when you look at Greek philosophy or Ilmul Kalam, the scholars have prohibited us to look into it, because there's an issue that needs to be dealt with. Why? Because although there are certain aspects, like in dawah or something, when you debate with the non-Muslims, with the philosophers, it helps you talk to them at their level and convince them, right? So this is where people use it. But back then they were using it in every sense. So even in Aqidah, in matters which are where the Quran does not speak much, they would use Greek philosophy. In Asma wa Sifat, they use this, and there were issues that came out of that. There were problems that came out of that because of delving into Ilmul Kalam. So the scholars basically they basically fell into it because of the era. But the scholars of Hadith at that time and all, they refuted them and they brought them on the right way. So the effect of the Greek philosophy in spiritual aspects, there is nothing that it should not be contradicting. It should not be contradicting to the Islamic sciences. So some of the scholars used it. So Ibn al-Jawzi also used it. So I just found something. While Ibn al-Jawzi was aware of and discussed Plato's ideas, his approach to the soul was more aligned to the Islamic teachings. So the concept of three capacities is actually Plato's idea. Okay, because he wanted to look at this three capacity and categorize how life is. Okay, but when the scholar, when he was looking at this perspective, the three capacities, he did not look at from grading at the three life, because we have something better than that already in Quran Sunnah, and it's very clear for us. But he used it to explain how to control your nafs. This is the difference over here. So he is not following Plato's ideology. I wanted to clear this. So he acknowledged the different aspects of the soul, which is reason, desire, and emotion, but did not explicitly divide it into three distinct parts as Plato did. His focus was on how these aspects interact and how the soul can be guided towards the spiritual perfection through self-awareness and adherence to Islamic principle. Ibn al-Jawzi's concept of soul is more focused on the process of purifying the soul and bringing it closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rather than defining structures. And he achieved it by self-awareness, overcoming negative traits, and cultivating virtues. And we saw this already in his work, which we went through the book itself. So it talks about many beneficial aspects where he is talking Quran and Sunnah. So I thought this explanation was important. Then the scholar, he talks about how to discipline oneself. So know that discipline of the self is achieved through lenience, which is being merciful and being tolerant, and moving from one state to the other. And this should not be done violently, rather it should be done leniently. And then he should combine both hope and fear. So he should be between hope and fear, and he should strive, and he should be he should work towards disciplining himself. He strengthens this discipline by keeping good company, by leaving the bad company, studying the Quran, beneficial stories, thinking about the paradise and hell, and reading the biographies of the wise people and the Zahid. So then some examples that he brings here is some quotes of the scholars and the Tabi'in. A neighbor of Malik ibn Dinar said, one night I heard him saying to himself, that's how you should be. So the neighbor of Malik ibn Dinar, he's saying that one time I heard him say, that's how you should be. The next morning I told him, he went and spoke to him, there was no one home with you. So who did you say that to? Who did you say that that's how you should be? Then he said, myself asked me for some bread. It insisted, so I restrained it from eating for 3 days. Then I found a piece of dry bread. When I was about to eat it, I said, wait, I will get a soft bread. Wait, so he's talking to himself. I'll get a soft bread. And so it said, that is, he himself said, I am contented with this. I'm content with that. So I said, that's how you should be. So whatever you're getting, you should be. So basically, he's taming his nafs. So 3 days he deprived himself from the bread. And when he wanted to eat, at that point, he has a dry bread, and he's not worried about wet bread or something soft to eat. At that point, he's saying it to himself. He's talking to himself, saying that that's how it should be. Know that if the nafs knows that you are serious, it will also be serious and hardworking. If it knows that you are indolent, which is lazy, it will become your master. So when you become lazy, it becomes your master. So from among the practices of discipline of the self is bringing it to account for every statement, for every actions and every negligence and every sin. So if you utter something, if you do something, if you are negligent in certain matters, and if you fall into a sin, put yourself to account. That's the way you will avoid getting into it again, and that's a way to discipline yourselves. When its discipline is over, it will appreciate the exhaustion it endured. So the scholar, he concludes, nevertheless, one should not forget the right of the self, right of the nafs, which is giving it its gratification that do not oppose the object of discipline. So what is he trying to say? He's saying that you do not go in extreme in disciplining your nafs. What Allah has made lawful for you, you should give it to your nafs. And you should not deprive yourself into becoming extreme in that you do not give it what it deserves. So if it is matters of the desire, then there are lawful ways of achieving it. If it is food, drink, whatever. So there are lawful ways of what your body needs, what your nafs needs. Okay, so in this case, you do not go to extreme in depriving it. So you have to maintain the balance of Sharia. For if it is prevented from its aim in general, the heart will become blind, worries will disperse, and the slave will become constrained. And know that the estimation of the nafs with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater than the estimation of the act of worship. Now, what does this mean? This is why He has permitted the breaking of the fast for a traveler. However, it is only the people of knowledge who understand this. Meaning, a traveler, he is fasting for the sake of Allah, it's ibadah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a permission of breaking the fast when he is traveling. Why? To make it easy for him, to make it easy for himself. So the third topic is disciplining children. The best of discipline is that which is done at young age. We saw this, that the children, they are able to be tamed when they are small. On the other hand, if a boy is left to his own characteristics and matured possessing these characteristics, then changing him would be difficult. So if you want to change him, it should be at the young age. Perseverance in discipline, that is the ability to keep doing things in spite of obstacles, is a significant principle, particularly in regards to children, as it benefits them in that good becomes a habit to them. So he brings the abiyat of some poet. The translation of it is, if you straighten the branches, they will straighten up. But wood does not soften if you amend it. Discipline benefits children gradually, but it will not benefit those who have aged. Another stance is that do not neglect disciplining a child, even if he complains of the pain of exhaustion. So know that a doctor considers the age of the patient, his place, time, and he prescribes the medicine based on the situation of the patient. Likewise, discipline should be suited to each child. So every child is different. So how do you discipline them? You have to understand the child, his characteristics, and then based on that you treat him. The signs of the success or the failure of a child can be noticed from a very early age. A clever child is stimulated by learning, and an unintelligent one is not availed by learning. Similar to the way a camel tamer does not become intelligent by practicing sport. Okay, this is an example he gives. So a man told Sufyan al-Thawri, we hit our children if they do not pray. Sufyan al-Thawri told him, you should rather encourage them and give them glad tidings. So this is the way of disciplining the children. Instead of forcing them, hitting them, why you're not praying, you encourage them, make them love the prayers, and compete to pray. So this is the way of nurturing the children. So how do you take care of this amana? The Shaykh, he brings a couple of points on it. A father should know that his child is trusted, that is placed in his hand by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he should make him avoid bad company at a young age. So you look at take care of his company. He is in good company or bad company. He should teach him the good, for a child's heart is empty and accepts anything that is given to it. So he should teach him good. He also should make him love shyness, haya, and generosity. Right? He should love haya and generosity. The shyness and hayosity and generosity. He should make him wear white clothes. Now, this is the era of the Imam. And he says, thus, if he asks to wear colored clothes, then he should tell him that these are the colors, these are the clothes of girls and effeminates. So colors were only for women, and white was for. And you can see in the Arab culture also that they are always in the white in their dash, and also this is the culture. He should tell him the stories of the righteous. This is the fifth point, and he should make him avoid love poetries, because it is a seed of corruption. So, but reading poems about generosity and courageousness, this is okay, so that he exalts these characteristics and become courageous. So, these are 7 points. The additional ones are, if he makes a mistake, he should overlook it. So if the child is making a mistake, overlook it. But his teacher should expose his secrets and mistakes. He should not reprehend him except in private. So you correct him in private, so that he takes the advice and he corrects himself, right? He should prohibit excessive eating excessive sleeping and make him accustomed to simple food. Minimal sleep, for it is healthier. He should be treated with physical exercises such as walking, disciplined by being prohibited from turning his back to the people. He should be disciplined by being prohibited to turn his back to the people, his su'ul adab, and from sneezing and yawning in their presence. If he chooses to exhibit a bad character, he should be deterred from it excessively, so before it becomes a habit. So when you see a bad character in the child, you discipline him before it becomes a habit for him. And it is so Luqman, he told his son, "O son, disciplining the son acts as a fertilizer for sowing seed." So Luqman is talking to his son and he's saying, "O son, disciplining the son acts as a fertilizer for sowing seed." So once a child is disciplined, then he'll absorb. But if the child is not disciplined, it is very difficult for him to absorb. Then he brings a point that if a boy is aggressive, his father should be lenient with him. Ibn Abbas, he said that the aggressiveness of a boy is an increase in his intelligence. He's aggressive. When you see aggressive children or hyperactive children, then that is a sign of their increased intelligence. So you need to nurture them in a different way. And this is Ibn Abbas. Yeah? It's not a good character, but it's a trait. He's talking about the traits of a child, because children are different. A child would be humble, sober, and a child would be restless. So in that case, his approach to the first person will not work on the second one. He has to come work in a different way with the other child. And it could be that he is intelligent, and we'll see why he mentioned this, why he is bringing this point. So the second section, he talks about how do you plan the future of your child? How do you work for the future of your child? Wise people used to say, and this is an important point, your son is like your flower the first 7 years. In the first 7 years, treat them very gently. They are like flower. And your servant in the second 7 years. He should do a lot of work after 7. Give him tasks. Don't make him lazy. Let him do the chores of the house. Let him do keep him busy with things. And he should be like a servant. He should be obedient to you. He should see you. If you say something, he says, "Yes, father, I'll do it." This is the way you should train him. By the time he reaches 14, if you have been good to him, then he will be your partner. And this is the benefit. In the first 14 years, the way you treat your child, that is the way he will be responding back to you. Clear? So he says by the time he reaches 14, that is close to puberty, if you have been good to him, meaning doing the things that you needed to do to discipline him and teach him good manners and make him active by giving him work, making him busy and not idle, then he will be your partner. And if you were bad to him, that you neglected his tarbiyah, then he will be your enemy. He will be your enemy, meaning that he will not obey you. So a child should not be beaten or offended after he reaches puberty. So after he crosses puberty, do not raise your hand. You should not offend him. You should not beat him. All that was supposed to be done when he was small. But now his ego will come into, and because then he will hope to lose his father in order that he may have his own way. I don't care about my parents. And you see this. You see this especially in the West, and now it's creeping in our countries also. You find that the children, they are not being nurtured properly. Most of the time the gadgets are training them, and then when the time comes when the parents want them to be good, then they don't listen to their parents. They have their own way. They go do things which are in the other way. May Allah correct our affairs and our children's affairs. So then the fourth point is, whoever reaches 20 years of age and has not become righteous, then his godliness, that is the taqwa, is remote. However, leniency should be practiced with everyone. Even with this, you don't lose hope. Because up until 20 years, you could not nurture him. No. He will not listen to you. He's got his own way, his own thought. He's built upon something now, and he'll follow his own way. But at that point also, don't lose hope. Be lenient with them, and advise them. So this was an important topic regarding the nurturing of the children. The fourth topic is awakening after heedlessness. Now, these were the tools that you would use for yourself and your children to discipline yourself, to be on the right track, and try to tackle the fitn that are arising in every stage of those 5 stages that he has mentioned. But it could be that a person does not perfect it from the beginning to the end, and the hidayah comes at an age where he is not in that phase. The time is gone. So how do you deal with such cases? So he says awakening after heedlessness. So a person was heedless in a certain age, and then now he understands that what is right and what he has to do. He understands the importance of Islam, and he wants to become a good Muslim. My son, do not let your past carelessness make you lose hope of achieving good. For many people have come back to wakefulness after long sleep. So this is the main thing. Don't lose hope. Whenever you correct yourself, whenever you repent, that is the time you need to start to work. Now he brings some quotes of his scholars and the scholars around him. Sheikh Abu Hakim, may Allah have mercy on him, told me what follows. Abu Hakim is the exemplary scholar, Abu Hakim Ibrahim ibn Dinar and Nahrwani al-Hanbali, one of the Imams of Baghdad, and he was a master in the field of inheritance, fiqh al-faraid. When I was a child, I spent my time, so he's saying, Sheikh Abu Hakim is saying, when I was a child, I spent my time in idle play and did not pay attention to sacred knowledge. And I said that there was something I wanted to explain, and it comes in this chapter, in the previous chapter which we saw, a second. Then my father, Abu Abdullah, may Allah have mercy on him, wanted to talk to me. Now he saw that I'm idle and I'm playing, so he wanted to talk to me. And he said, my son, I will not be there here for you forever. I will not be there with you forever. And so take these 20 dinars of his time, open a bread shop and make some money. I said, what are you saying? He's talking to his father and saying, what are you saying? So he said, open a cloth shop then. Open a shop of clothes and make money. I said, how can you say this to me when I am the son of the judge of the judges? How are you saying this to me when I am the son of the judge of the judges? This is Abdullah al-Damaghani. Abdullah al-Damaghani was the Mufti of Iraq. He was a Hanafi scholar. He replied, but I do not see you seeking knowledge. So now if you are not going to take 20 dinars and you're not going to start your business, or you're not going to take care of your livelihood, at least you start in this area, then what is the use of saying that I am the son of the judge of the judges, when I do not see you busy with knowledge? I do not see you seeking knowledge. So this was the way he nurtured this son of his, and he became a big scholar. So I said, give me a lecture right now. So that Shaykh is saying, his father, give me a lecture right now. He did so, and I came forward to busy myself with knowledge. From there on, I began taking the study of sacred knowledge seriously, so Allah gave me success in that. This is how he became a scholar. So his father's words, the way he approached him, and to guide him at the time where what is good for him, and to look at his character that he is not interested in knowledge. So at least he should work towards his dunya and take care of himself. That triggered things, and then him ascribing that I'm a son of the judge of judges. So what is that going to benefit you? If I am a judge of the judges, how is it going to benefit you? You're not taking anything from that knowledge. So how is it going to benefit you? So this reminder benefited him. Then he says, a colleague of Abu Muhammad al-Halawani, he is he was also a jurist. He was also a jurist of his time, qadi of his time, and then faqih. My father died when I was 21, and at that time I was known for being idle. Okay. So he's talking about Abu Muhammad al-Halawani. He's saying that when his father died, he was 21 and he was known to be idle. When I went to claim a house I had inherited from its inhabitants, I heard them say, the mudbir, that is, Ar-Rabit, he who abandons the adornment of life, has arrived. Having heard this, I said to myself, is this what they say about me? So the one who abandoned the adornments of life. This is how they referred him. So I went back to my mother and I told her, you will find me in the masjid of Sheikh Abul Khattab if you need me. I accompanied him and did not leave except for delivering judgments. I then became a judge for a period of time. I say I saw him dwelling legal verdicts and debating. So the scholar, he says that I saw him master the knowledge and become a faqih. So these are just a few pages now regarding the remaining two topics, which are the lives of the pious predecessors. Now, from one of the ways was to look at the biographies of the previous predecessors or the scholars and those who follow the footsteps of the Sahaba. So the Imam, he brings an important point from another work of his, classical book of his. So he says you should aim to be perfect. You should aim to be perfect and as motivated as a man can be. Your aim should be to become perfect and be as motivated as possible. As many people are restricting themselves either in isolation from worldly matters or studying sacred knowledge. And only very few combine the complete knowledge with complete action. So I have acquainted myself with the lives of the Tabi'un and those after them and found that the most complete of them are four. The most complete of them, of the Tabi'un, are four. Who are they? The first is Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib. The second is Al-Hasan al-Basri. The third is Sufyan al-Thawri. And the fourth is Ahmad ibn Hanbal. May Allah be pleased with them. These were the men, but they had high ambitions and determination which were lacking in many people today. Today means his era, the 6th century. Many of our predecessors were highly motivated, and if you wish to learn about them, just read through Sifat al-Safwa. So this is the book that he has written, in which he has categorized the biographies of the pious predecessors. So he talks about these four Imams. You can ponder over the lives of Sa'id, Al-Hasan, Sufyan and Ahmad, if you wish, as I have dedicated a whole book for each one of them. So what is he trying to say? You look into the life of the pious predecessors and specifically look into the lives of these four so that you benefit from them and see how they have lived their lives and you can motivate yourself to become perfect. So according to him, these are the perfect four Tabi'in. And the last topic that he wants to talk about is knowledge and actions are intertwined. So if you seek knowledge and there is no action, or you are acting without knowledge, this is going to be detrimental. Be careful of busying yourself with mere worship with no learning. As many ascetics, which is Zahid, and Sufis have gone astray due to acting without knowledge. So if you act without knowledge, you would go astray. So cover yourself with the two beautiful garments. What are the two beautiful garments? Which is knowledge and action. That will not make you famous among the material folks with their classiness, nor famous among the Zahid with their ruggedness. So take yourself to account for every glance, every word and every step you take, as you will be asked about all of it. So the first quote that I gave you, be careful of busying yourself with mere worship with no learning. This quote is from, it's based on the statements of the scholars. So Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, he said, whoever acts without knowledge harms more than benefits. Al-Hasan al-Basri said, seeking knowledge in a way that does not harm your worship, and seek knowledge in a way that does not harm your worship, and worship in a way that does not harm your knowledge. So you have to work in this way. Ibn al-Qayyim, he said, a person who acts without knowledge is like someone who travels without a guide, and it is known that a person like this will more likely be destroyed than saved. In any case, even if we suppose that he would survive by agreement, his deed would never be considered as something praiseworthy. All men of intellect agree that the case is quite contrary. And Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, he said, whoever abandons the guide strays from the path, and none can be guided with other than that which the messenger came with. So those who hear you speak will benefit from your knowledge according to how much you yourself benefit from it. So this is an important point. So if you are giving da'wah to someone, the effect of your da'wah will reach them and will benefit them if you are also firmly believing and practicing in it. May Allah correct our affairs. When a preacher doesn't apply his knowledge, his exhortation will flow off the heart's surface like water flows off a rock. And Ibn al-Jawzi, he mentioned somewhere in another of his work, knowledge and actions are twins whose mother is high motivation. So he concludes this saying, do not ever preach without an intention. Do not walk without an intention. Have an intention. Don't even swallow a bite without an intention. All of this will become clear to you once you get acquainted with the characteristics of the predecessors. So if you have the right intention, then inshallah this will be written as a good deed. Okay, so he's saying it starts with an intention. And with this we conclude this series of topics which are more of applications and beneficial for us to look into the stages we are in and how to nurture our children. May Allah correct our affairs, make it easy for us to practice these points. And with this we conclude this session. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.